We are not selling this home. We are using this home now. It has benefited us and has blessed us for 7 years, and we've enjoyed it. But now it is time to use this home as an asset where people will enjoy our home for a week, and that will pay for our home for a month.
This is Secrets for Success.
What is good, my friends? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. You know what I'm going to do? It is in the evening on Monday. I'm going to turn this into a podcast because I haven't gone in the group. I haven't done my podcast today because I've been running around like crazy. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a twofer, all right? Because I am pressed for time. I got a lot of things to do because I'm moving. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. If you guys are on live, go ahead and comment live. If you're on a replay, comment replay. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tell my video editor, put this as a podcast episode. Please listen to this. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you as always for joining me. As always, I try to be extremely transparent. I'm actually doing this episode live in my Facebook group because I go live in my Facebook group every Monday, and I didn't do that today. And it is Monday evening, and I want to have a podcast out for tomorrow. So here we are. Both those of you live in the Facebook group and those of you that are listening to the Secrets for Success podcast, you are hearing this news all at the same time. And that is that I am moving. I am moving from Indian Rocks Beach, and I am moving in 2 weeks, actually less than 2 weeks. I'll be closing on a home in Orlando, and I'm going to actually, I'll share with you guys why I'm doing this. But I think even more importantly than why I'm doing this is how this can benefit you. Me moving doesn't amplify your life, but I think what has happened in my life over the last 60 to 90 days has the potential to amplify your life if you just listen to what I'm going to say in this episode, live episode, I guess we can say. So basically, over the last 60 to 90 days, I've made a lot of decisions. And the first decision that I made was to officially not do Smart Success live event, right? SSHC Live is an event that we usually do every single year. And I decided this year I did not want to do the event. I've actually talked about this in prior episodes, and I've talked about this in the Facebook group. But I just felt like for many, many reasons, SSHC Live didn't make sense. It didn't feel right for me this year. It didn't feel right for my family. I just felt like for what I wanted to have for my community, I felt like there was other ways I could get it besides putting on a live event. I also do understand this, and I think this is extremely important for many of you to get. And that is that at the end of the day, everything runs its course. I plan on doing the Smart Success movement for a very long time, or as long as it's God's will for me to continue to do this. But I do know that like when I can no longer do this, like I want to have something to show for it. And something that I learned from my, I'm currently 21 years as an entrepreneur. And in those 21 years, I've always had clinics. I've learned a very costly lesson with my clinics, and that is that at some point you're going to walk away. At some point you're not going to treat. At some point I'm not going to coach. At some point I might be more the CEO, or I might be on the board of SSHC. Shoot, Kim Cowell might be the person running SSHC. I don't know, but I do know that that it's important to think 5, 10, 15 years ahead and say, hey, when you can no longer show up for these people physically in the way that you do right now, whether it's through events, it's through, coaching, this, that, da, 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 da. Well, you have a responsibility. You have responsibility to your family. You have responsibility to your kids, that you're not setting yourself up to where when you can no longer create earned income in a certain way, that they have nothing. I mean, at some point, daddy's going to die. And I want to make sure that I am making all the moves to where, regardless if I can work at the level that I'm working right now or not, my family that is supporting me and taking care of me is going to be set. And so, anyways, with that said, I decided, like, you know what? I don't think I should do SSHC Live this year. I think it makes more sense to give an amazing result to clients in a different way, but in a way that doesn't make me have to give the money to hotels and this and that and da 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 da. So, anyways, with that said, all right, I've already talked about that before. This is what happened. After making that decision, I also started to really reflect on everything in my life. Started asking myself, do I really need my office? Like, do I really need this? By the way, my office is a great deal. It's less than $2,500 a month. I was like, but do I need it? I mean, at one time, I think I had 15 employees in the office. Today, I have 10 employees, but most of us are working virtually. It's like, do I need the office? I was like, no, I don't. And guys, it's so interesting because once I made the decision with SSHC Live, I started saying, like, well, my life is already kind of disruptive and I'm not in my normal flow anyway. So I started asking myself, well, does that make sense either? So I said, you know what? Screw it. And I had to give my landlord a 3-month notice. I asked myself the same question. I said, does this make sense? And I'm leasing this office. Do I have anything to show for it once my time is up? And I said, no. So at least at that time, my plan was, but you know what I do have? I have a couple properties here. I was like, we can meet there for the people that are not working virtually. We can meet there if we need to. And so I use the same framework of thinking, like, do I have any assets to show for this? And I know I have other assets. It's in everything that you're doing. How are you leveraging it? Understanding that your time and your season for doing things in a way that you're doing it will eventually come to an end. Okay. So I got rid of my office. So now, guys, I'm in this disruptive phase. I'm in this, like, everything's in flux. Like, oh my gosh, as of July 9th, I'm no longer have my office. I didn't do the live event. Guys, I started to think, like, well, what else? You know, like what else? And, like, I won't get into all the things, but basically, there was things going on with my kids that I felt like we needed to address. My kids have been homeschooled for the last 7.5 years. And although the season of homeschooling has been great, there have been some things that definitely have been lacking. And one of those things is a sense of community. The reality is this. I mean, just want to keep it 100, you guys. Like, this is freaking amazing. And when I go to Orlando, which is where I'm moving to an area called Winter Garden, Florida. It's on the west side of Orlando. It's a nice area, but it ain't this. I mean, I can tell you that it's not this. But you know what? There's other things that we're going to get. And for me, I'm a 47-year-old man that has been able to live in this house since I was 40. And it has been amazing. It's been amazing. Like, my wife and I always had a goal and a dream of having a home on the water. And every single morning, I'm literally outside of that's my master bedroom right there. And I can step outside. I can basically be right here where my cold plunge is, my sauna, and I can look at this. And I kid you not, right before I went live, there was 2 dolphins just swimming. Like, I mean, this is amazing. But you know something? Just because it is my dream doesn't mean it's my kids' dreams. Okay? And one of the things that I've learned, and guys, I was only able to see this because of the decisions that I made with SSHC Live, the decisions that I made in my office. This has been the most laid back summer that I've had. And because of that, I've been able to listen to some of the things that my kids have told me. And I really took this from it. As grateful as my children are for the life that they have, I really have come to terms with understanding that this is daddy's dream and this is mommy's dream, but this is not our dream. And I think when you're at the age of, like, my youngest son turned 12 yesterday, and my youngest daughter is 16, and my oldest son is 19, and respectively, my oldest daughter is 22. Living in a community where the average age is about 70 is not their idea of community. When you see kids that don't look like you know, it's not necessarily their idea of, oh my God, I feel connected. You know, they didn't say it like this, but they're like, Daddy, you could you could be friends with a mosquito. Like, you love everybody. It's harder for us. And it made me sit back and reflect and say, you know what? Like, they have a point. And by the way, I had two ways I could look at that. I could look at that and say, well, when you live your life and you go and you create your dreams, you can do it however you want. Or, I could say, you know what? I want to do what I can to give my children that. And honestly, I mean, my dreams are cool and all that other stuff, but you know, my kids are still a huge priority in my life. And and then I also said, you know what? Okay, my heart became, my daughter said that my heart became soft and open to potentially moving. And so we've had this discussion for a few months. And then maybe about a month ago, about a month ago, we went to Orlando, me and Carrie and the two younger kids. And I was open, but I wasn't just gonna, like, just find something in, like, wherever and move there. But we found a place, and it's a nice new neighborhood. And yeah, I just felt really good about it. I felt really good about it. And so we basically, it's a house that's already built. Nobody's lived in it. It was an inventory home. And they said, you can get this house for a really, really, really good deal. But you have to close in less than 30 days. And so we did it. So we did it. And I've been working nonstop to get all our stuff in order. And yeah, they just, kid you not, like, literally 1 hour ago, they just gave us all of our closing information and said, all right, we'll see you in a week. Like, what? So in a week, we'll do our orientation, do a walkthrough, and then after that, we'll close the next week. So that's it. Okay, so I tell you guys all that because, number one, I think there's a couple things. I think number one, what I want you to get from this is that we wear different hats. You wear the hat of the entrepreneur. You wear the hat of the spouse. You wear the hat of the parent. You wear the hat of maybe the son or the daughter. You wear the hat of a friend. And sometimes you have to put on different hats in order to navigate through life. Not everything's about business. Not everything's about parenting. Not everything's about just your spiritual life. Like, there's a lot of different factors that are going on. And sometimes we have to put on those different hats. I think the second thing and by the way, let's honor that, and there's no role that's more important or less important than whatever. It just is. It's just life. It's just what you have to do. Right. I think number two, I want you to take away from this is that, decisions are hard to make, but when you have decision momentum, it is a real thing. Decision momentum is a real thing, meaning that when you make a decision, like, so many of us are living in such terrible situations and just willfully accept it every single day because we don't want to make a decision to change. And I do understand that that's really, really hard to do. And change always disrupts things, and it could get better, but it also could get worse. Right. And so we just end up not making the decision, and we stay stuck in an indecisive vortex over and over and over again. What I can tell you is this, is that we all go through that. But when you do make a decision, it creates this almost like a mini chaos. And when you're in this kind of chaotic state, it's so much easier to make the second decision and third decision and the fourth decision. What I can tell you is this, I talked about this a couple weeks ago, live in my Facebook group. I talked about the fact that there are times where when I'm making a decision, I have to think of the 10-10-10 rule. Is this decision going to affect me 10 minutes from now? Is this decision going to affect me 10 weeks from now? Is this decision going to affect me 10 years from now? And if it only affects me 10 minutes or 10 weeks from now, then just make the decision fast. But in this case, I know that the decisions that I made like are going to affect me 10 years from now. Like I know that. And I put a lot of thought into, the fact that me not doing one thing, which is SSHC Live, ended up creating a cascade and a domino of other decisions that I know that 10 years from now, whether it's the trajectory that my children are going in, whether it's the assets that I have built, whether it is the whole trajectory of SSHC, whether it is the trajectory of my marriage, I do know that these decisions are going to play itself out over many years. And I feel hopeful that they'll be very good, right? But what I can tell you is this, is that you can't change your life without making decisions. What I can tell you is that it was a heck of a lot harder to make the first decision than it was to make the decision to close down the office or to move to Orlando or to do this or do that. I mean, I can tell you that. Now, my decision, it's not like I'm not leaving this house. Okay. Let me make that clear. This is no longer going to be my primary residence. I also saw this too. And I want to say this. I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys, whatever. I know there will be some people like, oh, yeah, but okay. You want to know what? One of the things I've realized is this, is that if you have people talking stuff about you or whatever, just control the narrative. Like here, I'm telling you everything. So you go, hey, just go to the main source. He said everything. Hey, I'll tell you guys this too. We had a massive set of hurricanes last year. Okay. And we went through it. We were here. There's 2 people that literally were drowning across the street. And luckily we were here. And they basically came right into our crib. And 5 of my 6 family members were here. And that is quite traumatic. And honestly, we don't want to go through that again this year. Now, I'll tell you something else. There was a business opportunity there as well. And I'll tell you the asset part here. Okay. The asset part is that in our area, in this Indian Rocks Beach area, 50 to 60% of the vacation rentals are gone. They're not fixed up yet. And right now there's a massive demand for vacation rental homes. And from what we have heard, there are very few, if any, homes that have the space, the amount of bedrooms, the amount of bathrooms, and the view that this home has. And the reality is that we are not selling this home. We are using this home now. It has benefited us and has blessed us for 7 years, and we've enjoyed it. But now it is time to use this home as an asset where people will enjoy our home for a week, and that will pay for our home for a month. And so that's what we are going to do. And so I'm telling you that because this opportunity might not come around. I mean, by the way, it might not work. It's just like anything, But right now, as an entrepreneur, you have to look at, is there maximum upside? Yes. Is there minimum downside? Yeah, there is. I mean, there's minimum downside to this. So what? I try it, and if it doesn't work, whatever. I'll just, it's fine. I'll figure something else out. But I have an opportunity right now, and opportunities don't stay around. They don't stay around, a year from now, 2 years from now, these houses will be rebuilt, and there won't be the same demand as there is right now to get the hell out of my house and to get people to start paying us lots and lots and lots of money to basically have their vacation here. And so that played into the decision as well. So anyways, I'm just telling you guys this because, I don't know what you think of me. I know many of you have a lot of admiration for me. And I'm grateful for that. I also just want you to know that this is how I'm thinking of things. And this is how I think of things, not just as an entrepreneur, but this is how I think of things as a father. This is how I think of things as a husband, and these are what I'm processing through. And sometimes if you really suck at pulling the trigger on decisions, This can get very, very, very suffocating. What I can tell you is this: decision momentum is real. It is a true thing, and when you make decisions, it's easier and easier to make the follow-up decision and a follow-up decision and a follow-up decision. And if you can practice that, you can pull the trigger on things that can change your life in an instant. I believe my life is going to be exponentially changed with just 3 to 4 decisions that were made within a 30-day span. I truly believe that. I believe there are so many people that have the potential to have their life change with just making a couple ballsy decisions, but they won't do it because they struggle with not knowing the exact path, and then it never allows them to build decision momentum. I hope this helps you. I hope this serves you guys. And I hope you got a lot of value from this live podcast episode. Till next time.